Donald Trump's uncomfortable adoration for his daughter Ivanka is well known on the level of cringeworthy. But in this breaking story, we're about to find out just how much Donnie is going to defend his daughter. And I'm going to show you that story in a few seconds because his once again bumbling clown Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth just did something that may very well force Donald to have to make that kind of decision. You have to see what this goofball just did. I'm going to show you in a few seconds. But let's be reminded, a little transpiring of events between Donald, Pete, and Ivanka. Check this out.
We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military.
What's happening with DEI? How's that going at the Defense Department?
Well, DEI is not going well at the Defense Department because it's dead. The president said in his inaugural, we will be merit-based and colorblind, and that is the case at the Defense Department. DEI is going to be ripped out root and branch because we want everyone treated equally with high standards and held accountable with warfighting, lethality, and readiness front and center. We don't have time for emphasizing differences. Jesse, one of the dumbest phrases in military history is our diversity is our strength. Our diversity is not our strength. Our unity and our shared purpose is our strength. The Pentagon is excited to get back to that core mission. So diversity, equity, inclusion will not be a part of the Defense Department.
Thank you, everyone.
Donald Trump has every right to be proud of his daughter. Yet at times, his fatherly praise is downright cringeworthy.
This is a situation that Hegseth is trying to dig himself out of. But as we've heard, there are starting to be calls for the president to replace the top Pentagon official as some of these cracks begin to emerge among some of these top Trump advisors.
How has the Trump administration treated it? Or does it just remain this kind of intractable issue that the White House just wishes would go away?
But as it stands right now, the White House is trying to pump the brakes on this thing.
Yeah, Politico reporting this, Trump privately telling Hegseth that he's sticking by him, reinforcing his public support for the embattled defense secretary.
Like on The View in 2006.
I said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird.
Oof, yeah. You might date her, but now here's the question, Donald. How much are you going to defend her when Pete Hegseth just did this to something you enacted during your first term, which now denigrates your daughter? Here is the story.
Pete Hegseth scraps Pentagon's Women, Peace and Security program, citing DEI. Defense Secretary dismissed it as a woke Biden initiative, despite it being a Trump achievement from his first term. Pete Hegseth, the Defense Secretary, has abruptly banished the Pentagon's Women, Peace and Security program as part of his crusade against diversity and equity, dismissing it as woke, divisive, social justice, Biden initiative, despite it being a signature Donald Trump achievement from his first term. In a post on X, Hegseth wrote, "This morning, I proudly ended the Women, Peace and Security (WPS) program inside the Department of Defense. WPS is yet another woke, divisive, social justice Biden initiative that overburdens our commanders and troops, distracting from our core task, war fighting." The Defense Secretary added the program was pushed by feminists and left-wing activists, claiming politicians fawn over it, troops hate it. But the decision is raising some eyebrows as the initiative was established during Trump's first administration when he signed the Women, Peace and Security Act in 2017, making the United States the first country in the world to codify standalone legislation on the matter. The Trump campaign even courted women voters by citing the initiative as one of its top accomplishments for women on its website. Attempting to square this circle, Hegseth later claimed the Biden administration had distorted and weaponized the original program. Biden ruined everything, including women, peace, and security, he insisted. The Pentagon did not respond to a request for comment clarifying what will change in this iteration of the WPS following the Secretary's announcement. Hegseth had indicated the Pentagon would comply with minimum requirements under federal statute, but would lobby to defund the program during the next budget cycle in his initial post. The Defense Secretary's problems with the program could also create awkward tension with multiple Trump cabinet members who were architects of the very policy he's now dismantling. Kristi Noem, the Homeland Security Secretary, wrote the 2017 legislation while serving in Congress, and Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, co-sponsored the Senate version. Rubio, just this month, called it a bill that I was very proud to have been a co-sponsor of when I was in the Senate, at the State Department's International Women of Courage Awards ceremony. Mike Waltz, the National Security Advisor, also supported other legislation to strengthen the WPS, and served as co-chair of the Bipartisan Women, Peace and Security Caucus. And first daughter Ivanka Trump, back in 2019, also publicly promoted the program, writing on social media that today I was proud to announce, with female police cadets, that Columbia will develop a Our WPS National Action Plan as part of our WPS partnership. The WPS program, which originated from a 2000 United Nations Security Council resolution, was first created to boost women's participation in peace and security planning and protect women from violence in conflict situations. Iterations of the program have since been widely adopted globally as research has shown that peace agreements with women's participation are more durable.
Where we're at this point with the Trump administration, saying bull in a china shop isn't even accurate. Saying that you're trying to, kill a fly with a sledgehammer isn't even accurate. There is so much disconnect between what the right hand is doing and what the left hand is doing. All we can hope for at some point is that there isn't some sort of truly huge major catastrophe. Because the fact that the Secretary of Defense just terminated something that Trump himself did that actually impacts the love of his life, known as his daughter, which is just not as familial as you'd like to imagine it is, the fact that he's unaware. All of a sudden, in the first, after the first 30 days, Eric, Don Jr., Ivanka, no one in his family can be heard from because Melania never talks. But now that something like this has occurred, Trump is famous for walking everything back. He's walking back airline tariffs as we speak. But how's he going to handle this one? You'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, stay happy, stay healthy, talk to your friends, talk to those you don't agree with. Folks, stay frosty.